get into it. I think this will be fun for everyone. So the first one I thought was interesting was this Tom Hanks video has resurfaced. Now, I don't know if I can even play this, but this is Tom Hanks on one of his first acting gigs, and I believe it was called Bosom. Yeah, it was Bosom Buddies. It was about two dudes who dress like girls to interact with girls or something. I don't know. It was some weird shit. But this is him. Now, there's a lot of rumors about Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Epstein, and how Hollywood is full of, PDF files. And this video surfaces and it's disconcerting. So I don't know. This is for educational purposes only, my friends. And I'm going to, you know what? I think a good thing to do would be to, I'm going to just put my head right here. Just so we don't get any sort of guideline strikes. I don't want to offend anybody because he does sort of pull his pants to the side and it gets a little freaky, but so like, I don't know. Look, he's pulling his pants to the side. Like, what is happening here? Like, what? Why are you doing that, Tom Hanks? Why, Tom Hanks? Now, if you're like me, I'm a huge fan of Tom Hanks. Forrest Gump, amazing, right? But in the past few years, especially since QAnon and the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, what just happened? You're seeing more and more people talk out about this. Now, Isaac Kappy, I don't know much about him. I've seen some of his videos before, but like, I know that people take his shit very seriously, and he's the one who starts naming Tom Hanks and stuff.
Not personally, but people are murdered for it. They can try to kill me. Do you know anyone who is murdered because of this? Not personally, but people are murdered for it.
I'm not suicidal. Am I afraid of something? I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I can assure you of that.
The first time Isaac really understood what was going on in the industry was when he was confronted by his best friend known as Seth Green. This is where he admitted he was into pedophilia.
The first time it really hit me was that Seth said we need to have a talk about chicken. And then he basically admitted that he's a pedophile.
The word chicken has been used as a code word in the WikiLeaks from Hillary Clinton to represent a child. In these WikiLeaks, she had stated, with fingers crossed the old rabbit's foot out the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. If you're wondering who Moloch is, he was a deity that was worshipped thousands.
Isn't that weird that these emails were exchanged from Hillary Clinton talking about chickens and sacrifice for Moloch in some email exchanges? Now, are these emails real, or is she really talking about? I'm not sure. Like, we should look into that. Hold on. Hillary Clinton emails Moloch chickens. Now let's see what comes up. WikiLeaks, the email archive. So this is to Hillary Clinton. Let's do a quick search off of WikiLeaks, which I'm so surprised that Google even allows this to happen. Let's see, Moloch. Here we go. So this is in a thread on classified U.S. Department. With fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. These are within the Hillary Clinton email archives, which is very interesting, right? So this is something that comes out. Look, Tor is available here. That's so you guys can access the dark web. So yeah, there is a lot of weird stuff going on there. Of course, that's Pizzagate is part of this. John Podesta, all that stuff. So just so we get a little context of what we're talking about and that these emails are real. So we can take this, take this for however you want, but This is for educational purposes. So here, let's continue.
Thousands of years ago, and what is believed to still be going on today. In order to praise him, they would sacrifice their children.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile. There's this girl, Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks. She's been accusing him for months and months and months and months and months. He's never addressed it.
Tom Hanks had posted this Instagram picture a couple weeks back. It states, historic Route 66 roadkill? I hope not. This was a clear play on words to predict exactly how Isaac was going to be killed. It's no coincidence that he was suicided by jumping off of a bridge, as they say, and landing on a highway and being killed by a car.
The higher you go, the more sick it gets. You heard it's cannibals. Yeah, there is cannibalism. Look into Marina Abramovich. If you're just getting started with this stuff, look into Marina Abramovich.
The person who he is referring to is extremely high up in the industry and associated with many famous celebrities. It's clear as day that what she is doing is satanic, but she calls it performance art. She hosts these parties where they do mock human sacrifices. She is also involved with what is known as spirit cooking. It's an occult ancient ritual where she mixes together these ingredients such as sperm and breast milk.
Ugh.
After she is done with that, she throws it on what looks like a mock child.
If you don't know who John Podesta is, do some research. Oh, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
John Podesta was the face of Pizzagate, as well as exposed in the WikiLeaks. He has ties to the Clintons and Obama, and this is the artwork that is openly showed in his home. If this doesn't scream pedophilia, I don't know what does.
Whoa, that's weird. That's weird. Those are all weird things.
Steven Spielberg is a pedophile. See how easy that was, Corey? I didn't need $10 million. I just said it.
In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles, who he claims have abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who's still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
Dan Schneider. Oh my God. Yes, Dan Schneider is, of course, a pedophile. Is Oprah a pedophile? Well, let's see. Hanks, Weinstein. I mean, the company she keeps, as rich as she is, I have a feeling she is very high up in the cult. And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide. And it's fucking bad, guys. It's, what about Dave Chappelle? I think he knows quite a bit. Why did he run away to Africa? Why was he so freaked out?
28 of last year, Dave abruptly walked away, not only from the set of the show, but from $50 million, which left his fans shocked and most everyone completely puzzled.
You know, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in control. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Why did they throw Kanye in an insane asylum right after he called out Facebook and Google and saying that they lied to you? Why did they throw him in an insane asylum and drug him for days? Why?
Why did they? And Alex Pasternak, you know, that dude Pasternak, his personal trainer who has ties to the CIA of Canada. Of course, he has ties to Israel, or at least the Jewish lobbies. He has a lot of stuff going on. And look, I'm not trying to say anything about the Jews or anything, but I'm just saying that he has ties. Pasternak also was very involved with threatening Kanye when he was going on about anti-Semitism and calling out Hollywood on how much, or in the entertainment business, on how much it is controlled by a small group of people, and a lot of them happen to be Jewish. I'm not trying to give into that conspiracy, but what I am saying is that Isaac Kappy is, I've only known him a little bit, right? I've seen his videos once, some here, and I knew that he was involved somehow, and I knew there was some suiciding. But he is sort of naming all the things and all the people that are generally named when it comes to, you know, child sex trafficking or PDF files and such. So, you know, it's interesting, right? It's interesting. I'm not saying this is real. I'm just saying, you know, listen. We're just listening. We're just observing. We can do research on our own, right?
About the sunken place I can think and I could just be yay and just express how I feel. It was the scariest moment of my life.
What you thought they were gonna drug you or kill you?
I thought I was gonna get killed. I'm in the hospital. How many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. I was drugged the fuck out, bro.
Jimmy Savile.
He's like yelling at the TMZ staff. That's what I love about Kanye.
Raped and murdered hundreds of kids over the course of 3 decades or longer. No one ever looked into it. And he hung out with the royal family. He was knighted. That's why when people say the news is fake.
Jimmy Savile, who was a notorious pedophile who got ousted in the UK. If you guys don't know who that is.
It's because it's run by these people who are into some very, 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 very sick stuff. We have been brainwashed for our whole lives. You can break someone's subconscious mind. If you're not aware of any of this stuff, look into MK Ultra.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
What's the worst that happens? You die. We all die. We all die. Might as well die doing something good. Everyone's afraid. They're afraid to come out. It's scary, guys. People get killed over this shit. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Aren't you concerned for my life? Yeah. But more importantly, I'm concerned for everybody, because this shit has been going on forever. I'm tired of it.
So, there's a lot of speculation that Satanism and this cult thing going on. John Legend is being dragged through it. Christy Teigen, right, his wife, has been dragged, linking her to Jeffrey Epstein. She had 1 million accounts that she blocked. There's and of course, just because someone hung out with Jeffrey Epstein or was around him or talked to him doesn't make them, a sex trafficker or anything. But, it is kind of weird. Oh man, I forgot what I was going to Google. Oh, well. And then, they just went through here and they started posting stuff about him, about Tom Hanks leaving cryptic messages in his IG. This right here, this Hollywood thing. These are all signs of PDF files as a cult. And there's a lot of people who believe this. J-Lo exposed Diddy. I don't know if that's true. Let's see. Ugh, God, Joe Biden is just such a weirdo and who sniffs kids and stuff. Like, he is weird. Ashley Biden's journal was confirmed, right? Ashley Biden's journal was confirmed to be real. It was Snopes. Let's see, Snopes. Ashley Biden. This is Ashley Biden confirmed. What more now? Here's so have they been confirmed? True. Snopes, our favorite fact checkers, have verified it. The diary, authored by U.S. President Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, described showers taken with her father when she was a child and probably not appropriate. Also, she says stuff like, I think I was molested. She never, no, April 29, Snopes changed the rating of this fact fact check from unproven to true based on the testimony provided by Ashley Biden in an April 8th letter to the New York judge requesting jail time for one of the two people convicted of stealing her diary, who got a month in jail. They did actually get a month for stealing her property. Biden wrote, I will forever have to deal with the fact that my personal journal can be viewed online. Yes, you are. You are the president's daughter, and you write some really salacious shit about it. I'm sorry, but that is crazy. Previous versions of this fact check noted strong evidence that the diary existed, but argued that no source had authenticated the contents of the pages published online. Writing the authenticity of photographs perpetrated to be from a diary is a separate question from the factual existence of a diary. Ashley Biden's letter to the court, in Snopes' view, provides that authentication. Since 2023, various right-leaning accounts on X have shared an old video containing an audio phone call between Ashley Biden, the daughter of U.S. President Joe Biden, and operatives of Project Veritas. As Snopes discussed in detail in March 2023, the phone call is part of a suite of evidence suggests Project Veritas came into possession of a diary that authentically belonged to Ashley Biden. Project Veritas nevertheless withheld publication of the document because they knew it was going to bring down a lot of shit. Of course, what's his name? He's no longer a part of Project Veritas, but OMG now, right? What's the name of his... he does OMG now, but he the feds came down on him hard, right? He's still dealing with litigation and such. So it's a pretty weird, right? Joe Biden. It's weird that there's a lot of evidence that points to pedos being involved in high echelons of power in the music industry, the film industry, the politicians, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton. Like, why would anybody even write that they're going to sacrifice a chicken to Moloch? Like, that's weird. I mean, she could say it's some tongue in cheek, it's funny, you know, some kind of joke. But this is something that keeps coming up. Now, is Pizzagate? Should people go to Comet Pizza and start shooting up the place? Absolutely not. But it is strange. That's all I'm saying, friends. And of course, this video is for educational purposes only. So let's start moving on. The thing about John Legend, right, was that he was against Michael Jackson, which I have changed my mind when it comes to Michael Jackson being a pedo. I think he was set up because powerful interest, which we've watched this before, but if you guys ever seen this, Ian Carroll or Cancel This Clothing Company on TikTok, he did a fantastic, this is the reason why I don't think that Michael Jackson was a PDF file. I think he did an excellent job breaking it down like no one else has, just with the documents straight in your face. And basically it was a setup. I don't think that Michael Jackson did that shit anymore. So very odd thing. It's funny. Bill Cosby is trending right now because of weird stuff going on. But Bill Cosby showing his wife and lawyer the P. Diddy news of how he can't be charged. Base shit happened so long ago. Because Diddy came out and said, you can't charge me. It happened a long time ago, which is true. But they can take him to civil court because of certain laws that helped overturn that limits of the time limits that you can prosecute somebody or sue somebody. Isn't it crazy that they were able to lock Bill Cosby up for allegations from over 40 years ago with no video evidence or nothing, but they caught Diddy red-handed on video, and there's absolutely nothing they could do because it happened 8 years ago. Yeah, that's true. But goddamn, I was glad to see Bill Cosby, the serial rapist, put away in prison, even though he's out now. He's out. Who was it? Harvey Weinstein, right? Harvey Weinstein, his case was overturned. He's gonna get a new New York trial. Right? He's gonna get something. I didn't spell any of that correct. Harvette. Wow. I can't type. Yeah, of course, Michelle Obama was a good friend of Harvey Weinstein. There's those videos of people just thanking and praising Harvey. He just got his case overturned. Harvey Weinstein case overturned. Is that what it was? Overturned? Yes, it was a conviction that was overturned. And this happened about 3 weeks ago. Let's see. Harvey Weinstein taken to the hospital after transferring to Rikers, a jail ahead of court appearance. You know, who cares? Like, that dude can just die in jail. So he's going to get a whole new trial. Accuser Harvey Weinstein want a new trial after overturned rape. I mean, it's just weird how, you know, NBC blocked the reporting of the Epstein case. They blocked, you know, Harvey Weinstein. That so many people were protecting Harvey Weinstein at the New York Times. They're trying to protect him, right? So there was a lot of powerful interests who are protecting these people. Another thing that's been interesting that I saw speaking of PDF files, is King Charles portrait is making its rounds because it looks fucking evil, bro. Look at this. Blood, flames, horror movies, the evocative imagery of King Charles. Look at this. That looks like Satan shit, bro. And I'm not even into all that Satan shit. I do think there's evil in the world, but I don't know if it's called Satan. As far back as the 1500s, the British royal family has used formal portraits to project a positive and authoritative image. Their most recent entry, however, is giving audiences a very different impression. The latest series of public relations blunders at a tenuous time for the monarchy, which is, you have Prince Harry out there talking shit with his fucking pick-me fucking wife, Meghan Markle. You have the disappearance of Kate, right? Kate was just disappeared. Now she has cancer. Prince Andrew and Epstein and all that stuff. And now this, the new portrait of King Charles by British artist Jonathan Yeo, features the monarch looking on serenely while wearing red Welsh Guards uniform against a red backdrop, which is a terrible color choice. Like, why would you do that? Aside from his hands and face, the portrait is covered in red paint strokes. A visual that, for some onlookers, recalled flames, blood, and horror films. It looks like he's bathing in blood, a commentator quipped on an Instagram post announcing the portrait. To me, it gives the message that the monarchy is going up in flames or the king is burning in hell. It's just not, it's not a good portrait. Like, I think even Joe Rogan posted something. Horrifying. That is horrifying, bro. Get that out of here. So you have lots of weird stuff going on, right? Like, there's so many connections, and it's really hard to like look the other way when it comes to all these signs and stuff. And you could say it's conspiracy theory, and you could say it's all that stuff, but there is so much evidence out there that points to this. And to say that there is no like human trafficking, there is no child sex rings out there, it is just ridiculous. There's so many people who want to downplay it like it doesn't exist. Like, there isn't people out there who crave this kind of domination and power over another human being. It's just to say that it doesn't exist or downplay its existence. It was like when that movie came out. What was that movie called? And they're all like trying to make this dude in this conspiracy theorist. What's that movie called? It's God bless it. I'm sorry, my nose is running. I'm still sick. I hate it. I hate being this sick. Or just, I've been sick for like weeks now. It's annoying. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to do something. It's so gross, man. Like, I'm just trying to get better, bro. I'm trying to get better, man. Anyways, when you put all the pieces together, it can look like some psycho's nightmare of pedophilia, but Sounds of Freedom. Sounds of Freedom is what it's called, right? And I remember Sounds of Freedom. I think Rolling Stone. Let's just pull up Rolling Stone, our beloved Rolling Stone. Sounds of Freedom box office triumph for QAnon believers, right? So why would they downplay something that's based on a true story, which is actually happening when you have, I'm sure it's more now, but when you have over 80,000 people or children missing that are coming over the border illegally and they're just missing, it rings a little like doth protest too much, right? Like, y'all want to say it doesn't exist so much that there has to be something to it. Like, anytime they downplay it, right? And didn't we just see like it reminds me of like the vaccines and the gain of function stuff. Like, now we're seeing people, whole countries rejecting it, lawsuits for vaccine injuries. And of course, this video is for educational purposes only, my friends. But you're seeing now that they're admitting to gain of function, right? They're admitting. So you got to think, when you're thinking about conspiracy theories and when people get called conspiracy theories, and then things start to sort of unravel and present themselves, and these conspiracies are now conspiracy facts, you have to start questioning everything you see, not in an unhealthy way, but in a very healthy way that protects you and your family and the people you love, because you don't want to be giving people vaccines that might hurt them, right? And I'm not naming any particular vaccines, but there are vaccines out there that have hurt people. There are vaccines out there that have caused, adverse effects. And there is a certain vaccine now that does seem to be causing more adverse effects than previously thought, right? Of course, there's the video of my favorite video of who's that guy from MSNBC? Rachel Maddow, where he's talking about how if you take this vaccine, you're not going to spread the virus. And of course, people want to say that we didn't have all the science and shit like that. But admitted to gain of function. NIH finally admits that taxpayer-funded gain of function. This happened, right? Like, this happened in front of people. It's pretty messed up. And now Elon Musk wants to prosecute Anthony Fauci for lying to the American people. I just need a... Oh, yeah, we know that, you jerk. You know what? X does a great job at just sort of... Let's see. Let's just see what comes up off of this. All right.
Müssen, warum die Abgeordneten
in
den Jahren 2021
some Germans. NIH admit. Let's see if this comes up at all. No, it... Why? Gain of function with a C. Let's see if that helps at all. Oh, here.
Lab and NIH funded it.
Remember when Senator Rand Paul accused
John
Anthony
Stossel, let's
Fauci
go.
of funding China's Wuhan virus lab?
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating.
The media immediately criticized Senator Paul.
Rand Paul, stop it. You look like an idiot.
Dr. Anthony Fauci blasting Senator Rand Paul.
Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about.
Anthony Fauci once again forced to call Rand Paul a sniveling moron.
By the way, Rand Paul is a medical doctor. To sit there and say that Rand Paul doesn't understand or know what he's talking about, he can easily just look at the research, look at the paperwork, and understand stuff from a doctor's perspective. So whatever you feel about Rand Paul.
But some now have changed. Major shifts. NIH admits funding risky research in Wuhan. Paul might have been onto something.
To me, it's not so much about them admitting or apologizing. It's really about trying to prevent this from happening again in the future.
Paul also pushed the then controversial idea that COVID began with a lab leak.
All the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
Did COVID leak from this lab, which did experiments funded by the U.S. government? The media told us, no, COVID came from an animal.
The working theory is someone butchered a bat, came into contact with its blood or urine, and then touched his or her nose or mouth.
Everybody was saying came from animals, from bats.
I initially was there too. Then there became reports of 80,000 animals being tested, no animals with it.
No animals with COVID. But
we know that 3 people in the Wuhan lab got sick with a virus of unknown origin in November of 2019.
And that was more than 1,000 kilometers away from where bats live.
Exactly.
Not only that, lab leaks are common.
Accidents do happen. Labs in Singapore, Taiwan, and China accidentally infected themselves with SARS.
SARS escaped from labs. So did smallpox, anthrax, and flu. Now the FBI and others agree with Senator Paul.
The Department of Energy has concluded COVID-19 likely came from a lab leak in China.
So evil Chinese scientists in a lab funded by America?
America funded it, and I think it was maybe not done with evil intentions. It was done with misguided notion that gain-of-function research was safe.
Gain-of-function research? That can mean making viruses stronger.
They sometimes create viruses that don't exist in nature that are now more infectious. They've gained the function of lethality or infectiousness by being combined in a lab.
They're trying to find ways to stop
Right.
diseases.
But many scientists have now looked at this and said, we've been doing this gain-of-function research for quite a while. The likelihood that you create something that creates a vaccine that's going to help anybody is pretty slim to none.
The media is weirdly
And what it is that it's money, right? They're in pursuit of money. And in pursuit of money, you're going to find that people are going to skirt rules, regulations, and laws. And in fact, the United States, by skirting laws, they export to South America, to China, to do these experiments for these pharmaceutically funded government organizations like the NIH to find potential vaccines for potential viruses for potential profits. It's investments. They're looking at it as an investment, right? Pretty scary shit when it can lead to locking down, ruining an economy, ruining a whole generation of children, screwing with people's brains, making them fucking all crazy and fucking and paranoid about all diseases and everything. It caused a lot of problems. The pandemic did, and it was all just for profits.
Curious about this.
We have a disease that killed maybe 16 million people worldwide, about 1 million people in America, and they're not curious as to how we got it.
You're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
Senator Paul details his arguments in this new book, Deception, the Great COVID Cover-Up. It points out that Fauci once justified the risks of gain-of-function research.
He said in 2012, even if a pandemic occurs, if a scientist becomes infected and the community becomes infected, the knowledge is worth it. Well, that's a judgment call, and I would say there's probably 16 million families around the world who might disagree with that now.
Dr. Fauci didn't give your money directly to the Chinese lab. He gave it to a nonprofit called EcoHealth.
EcoHealth Alliance is working on the ground to stand between you and the next pandemic.
EcoHealth Alliance. Most Americans haven't heard of it.
They were able to accumulate maybe over $100 million in U.S. taxpayer dollars, and a lot of it was funneled to Wuhan.
EcoHealth is run by zoologist Peter Daszak.
Set our sights on the next pandemic. We can stop it emerging. We can save
stop
lives.
it emerging.
Daszak bragged about combining coronaviruses in Wuhan in hopes of creating a vaccine.
My colleagues in China did the work. You create pseudoparticles, you insert the spike proteins from those viruses, see if they bind to human cells. And each step of this, you move closer and closer to this virus could really become pathogenic in people.
The spread of a new deadly disease.
Once COVID broke out, Daszak was less eager to talk about the experiments he funded.
Peter Daszak has refused to reveal his communications with the Wuhan lab, and I do think that ultimately there is a great deal of culpability on his part.
In addition, Daszak and Fauci got other scientists to sign this letter, published in a prestigious medical journal, saying they
strongly condemn conspiracy theories suggesting that COVID-19 does not have a natural origin.
They squelched all dissent and said you're a conspiracy theorist if you're saying this, but they didn't reveal that they had a monetary self-incentive to cover this up.
We asked Daszak to answer the claims in this video. He didn't respond.
To give you an example of who he is and how the money changes hands, this is a guy who has $15,000 cocktail parties at the...
You know, John Stossel, of course. Here we go.
Fund gain-of-function research.
Here we go.
Did NIH fund gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology through EcoHealth?
It
depends on your definition of gain-of-function research.
That's an odd
If you're
way to
speaking
respond.
about the generic term, yes, we did, because, but this is research. The generic term is research that goes on in many, many labs around the country. It is not regulated, and the reason it's not regulated is it poses no threat or harm to anybody.
Oh.
Did NIH fund gain-of-function research at
The generic
Wuhan Institute of Virology?
In the generic definition, it doesn't harm anybody except for 16 million people around the world, destroying the economy, destroying people's lives. That video of people at their parents' funeral or someone's funeral, and they can't sit next to each other, and then they sit next to each other, and then here comes the funeral director coming and, you can't do that, dude. Horrible. Elon Musk is now calling for Dr. Fauci to be arrested and prosecuted. Musk arrest Fauci. Let's see what comes up after that. Yeah, Elon Musk here. Elon Musk tweeted, "My pronouns are prosecute Fauci" back in December. Now that we have it, they should definitely. Elon Musk demands charges against Anthony Fauci after NIH comes clean on funding gain-of-function research. Who the fuck is Elon Musk? That's funny. Breaking Elon Musk calls for Anthony Fauci to be prosecuted. Do you want to see Fauci behind bars? Absolutely, we do. And what is this? Wait, is this a new
pronouns? He's the owner of Twitter. That his pronouns are prosecute Fauci, others in the GOP.
Yeah. Anyways, there you go. And so, when you think about conspiracies and you think about who's saying what and who stands to benefit, where does the money funnel to? Why are people so willing to go along with these ideas that just turn out to be, conspiracy facts? I don't know. It's a very, very evil force that's pushing these narratives that are trying to deny these atrocities that they commit and trying to hide behind the media, trying to hide behind our government, trying to hide behind experts and professionals, right? To sit here and say that conspiracies don't exist, we all know they do. Operation Paperclip, right, was a conspiracy, but that came true. Isn't that right? Or Northwoods? There's tons of conspiracies. Gulf of Tonka, tons of conspiracies that were true. To say that there's no such thing as conspiracies is stupid. To say that the pharmaceutical companies won't make shit up just for profit is stupid, because Pfizer is one of the recipient of one of the biggest lawsuits against them in history. To say the government won't lie to cover things up or to direct a narrative is stupid to say. So why are people so closed off into listening, at least doing a little research, looking into it a little bit, other than just listening to CNN or MSNBC, who is, by the way,
brought to you by Pfizer. Fuck you. Pay me.
All those shows are all brought to you by Pfizer. All the mainstream media, sports shows, all of it brought to you by Pfizer. And I guess all I'm saying is give conspiracies a chance. Because you don't know. You don't know what the fuck, right? And now they got bird flu coming out. Bird flu is going to be our next pandemic, right? Let's just see what X says. Bird flu pandemic. Let's just see. You just gotta see what X has to say about stuff. Treasonous globalist Mitt Romney, who has invested interest in Ukraine biolabs, wants you to prepare for an upcoming bird flu pandemic.
Well, first of all, you would have expected that the lessons that we learned with COVID, as well as the lessons on the baby food shortage, would have led our various government agencies to say, we need to be able to collect better data, look at trends in data, identify threats before they become severe. But that hasn't happened to the degree I'd like to see it. So with regards to the so-called bird flu, we have the Department of Agriculture that's doing some work. We have the CDC, which is doing some work, and other agencies as well. But the coordination of their data gathering has not been as extensive as I'd like to see it. They haven't been able to communicate.
And what he means is that they want to be able to coordinate data, which means that they want to make sure that they know where everybody's at and be able to trace everybody's movements, because they got to find the origins. It's the dog whistle for we need to lock this shit down. Vaccine passports, bitch, digital currency, right? The digital currency supplied by the government, because our financial system is just teetering on collapse. All these things just point to, we just need to get more control. We need more data and basically more control so we can be prepared, right? The WHO, who is sort of strong arming people into joining their ridiculous pact so that they make all the laws. It's a centralized source to control how people react to pandemics. And let's see, WHO response. The Global Pandemic Pact won't end free speech. The World Health Organization won't end free speech. 60 seconds on the pandemic treaty. This is from the BMJ. Let's just see what this says, right? World Health Organization pandemic plan won't end free speech. This is May 17th, 2024. As the world emerged from a global pandemic, the World Health Organization began drafting a legal agreement to respond to future pandemics. Since then, the document has been a target of misinformation. The WHO's Pandemic Prevention, Preparedness, and Response Accord is a legal agreement the organization's 194 member states, including the U.S., are negotiating to help prevent and better prepare for future pandemics. In a clip from former Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson's web show, author Brett Weinstein warned the WHO's actions with regard to the accord could strip Americans of their constitutionally protected rights to free speech. So you're saying that an international quote, you're saying that an international health organization could end the First Amendment, Carlson asked Weinstein in the clip, which circulated January 28th in an Instagram video and was attracting comments and interactions in late April. The ability to do it is currently under discussion at the international level, replied Weinstein, whose COVID-19 claims PolitiFact has previously fact-checked. Says nothing about what it's fact-checking. By the way, Weinstein was one of the first people to say that this was a lab-created virus. Now we know it was. The Instagram post was flagged as part of Meta's effort to combat false news and misinformation on its news feed. The clip came from a video published on January 5th on the subscription-based Tucker Carlson News Network. The network also shared a longer clip of this portion of the video on its YouTube page, which we should go look. The longer version shows a fuller exchange. Carlson, so you're saying, okay. Yes. Wait. So you're saying that the World Health Organization could just end the First Amendment? Weinstein, yes. And I know it sounds preposterous. It does sound preposterous. The ability to do it is currently under discussion at an international level. Weinstein later said the WHO's pandemic preparedness plan will be used to silence podcasters and eliminate national and personal sovereignty. Weinstein did not respond to PolitiFact's request for comment. But his assertion that the WHO's work on the plan could eliminate Americans' free speech protections is contradicted by the U.S. Constitution and draft accord itself. The March 28th WHO press release said the pandemic agreement draft will continue to be refined ahead of the World Health Assembly set for May 27th to June 1st in Geneva, Switzerland. An April draft of the plan explicitly stated that the plan's implementation will be the full respect for the dignity, human rights, and fundamental freedoms of persons, and that states have sovereign rights to adopt, legislate, and implement legislation, which right now we have, like Florida has rejected it. I think Tennessee has rejected it. World Health, WHO information also detailed that the government themselves would undermine the accord with member states deciding terms. Lawrence Gostin, director of Georgetown University O'Neill Institute for National Global Health Law, told PolitiFact that the pandemic accord contains no provisions that would override U.S. law. The pandemic agreement would not control what could or could not be written or said in the United States. The regulation of speech, including online content, is entirely within the realm of the U.S. Congress. He added, the process of changing U.S. Constitution is lengthy to eliminate the First Amendment. Okay, so what they are doing is they are saying that he is saying that it's going to eliminate the First Amendment, and they're saying it in a literal manner, right? They're fucking skirting around what Weinstein is actually saying. Because if we notice during the pandemic, there was a lot of stuff you couldn't say, right? Like that the virus was out of a lab, right? You couldn't say that. You couldn't say that the vaccines weren't safe and effective. You couldn't say that. So it was obvious that there was things that you could and couldn't say on the internet, which is protected under, I think it's called Title II, right? Or is that what it's called? But they have the rights to not be held responsible for the things that people do or say on their page. It was governments. We know from the Twitter file that the government was in direct contact with social media and legacy media. There's also evidence of that, that they were regulating what you couldn't say about shit. So instead of changing the First Amendment, they don't need to do that. They can go around by just telling these social media groups and media and legacy media groups that this is the narrative and this is what we're saying and this is what can be posted and this is what can't be posted. And that we didn't mess with the First Amendment. But they are directly involved with fucking with the First Amendment. It's the government censoring us. So what they're saying in the WHO agreement is that they will have the power to regulate what can and can't be said on these social media networks, and that will be uniformed unilaterally throughout the country or throughout the world in different countries who are a part of this pact. So can you imagine, because in that interview that Weinstein was talking to Tucker Carlson, he's saying that like the only thing that was really saving us was like podcasts like Joe Rogan, who wasn't censored through that whole thing. He was censored by Spotify and some things, but they let him say pretty much what he wanted to say during the pandemic about vaccines, about how ivermectin. I think we all remember how everyone came for Joe Rogan about ivermectin. Now you have Chris Cuomo out there right now saying that we were misled. We were misled. Who was misleading them? Experts? Who are these experts working for? The government? These were all people who were being told that this is the narrative and this is what you are going to push. And that's what they mean about fucking losing the First Amendment. And this, whoever this is, they clearly are not in good faith explaining what is meant by what Weinstein is saying. So it's real interesting to me that they want to talk shit and they want to say that Brett Weinstein is just spreading misinformation. But when you have the ability to name anything misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, and you have it at a centralized point that controls a large portion of the world, that's a very dangerous, slippery slope in which here in America, our First Amendment right will be skirt-tailed through the back door, right, of social media and media, which is always what they've kind of done, right? Known the CIA's been involved in the media since the 50s, right? Like movies and the news and such. So we know that this is all possible. They've been doing this for a long, long time. Now with the internet, it's just so much easier, which is what the internet was kind of created for, was to like spread information, spread disinformation, overturn governments, all from a computer, right? Because that's what they can do. They can start turmoil and protests just from the computer. They can just plant bots or Russian bot farms or Chinese bot farms putting out their own misinformation and getting people riled up, right? This is how shit and these shit movements start. And this is how they divide people. This is how they get people to not discuss things with people. That's how you get the othering happening and turn people against the value of human life and turn them into the enemy, turn your neighbor into the enemy. It's how you maintain control, is divide and conquer. Oldest play in the book, right? I was, what were we going to look up? Because I was about to look up something. Anyways, maybe we're not going to look up something. Well, I meant to look at other videos. Maybe we'll do that in another video. But I think, when we're talking about conspiracy theories, you got to be careful not to get sucked down these rabbit holes, right? Because it's easy for people to get sucked down these rabbit holes that end up being ran by, like, for real white supremacists and racists. Like, I see it on Twitter all the time. It's more and more people are using, using this platform, gaining people just by pointing out, like, oh, we can blame all our problems on the Muslims and Islam, or we can blame it on the Mexicans for flooding our fucking country. We got to be careful with all that. Not to say that our border is not open and stuff, but what I'm trying to make the point is that it's very easy to get trapped in these rabbit holes where you start forming your beliefs to some not good faith actors, right? But it is important to do your own research. If someone tells you not to do your own research, you should stop listening to them because they're idiots. Fucking idiots. Man, I wish I could remember what I was about to look up. Oh, well. Well, I guess we'll call it for there. This was a long... This was longer than I thought it was going to be, so I hope you guys had fun. Thank you guys so much. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.